What I've been warning about on my blogs for many years now has finally come to pass. The Western world, specifically the United States, is in a state of inflation where people actually notice, which means a lot of you are going to be in very big trouble unless you take precautions against this. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 things you can do right now to make sure that this inflation bothers you the least. And if you stay to the end, the very best one I've got is the one I'll talk about at the end. It's one that people usually don't think about. I am Caleb Jones. This is Alpha Male 2.0. I make a multi-6-figure location independent international income while dating multiple attractive women, and I show men like you how to do the same thing. So I have been talking about this for a very long time in terms of inflation that you actually notice. It's not like the United States and the rest of the Western world has not already been in a state of inflation. It has for many years, as I've discussed. The reason a lot of you didn't think so or didn't feel it, quote unquote, is because you were going off the government's numbers. Things like the CPI, which is the official inflation figure the United States government uses. Conveniently, what they do with that number is they take out everything that you would normally use. So the CPI doesn't include things like, housing, education, healthcare, stuff you never use. So it keeps that number artificially low. So people say, but Caleb, what are you talking about inflation? It's only 3% because they're looking at the CPI and not actually how much things cost. Well, now you have things like the price of lumber, commodities that are skyrocketing, food is skyrocketing because all the trillions upon trillions upon trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars that Donald Trump and Barack Obama and George W. Bush have been printing over the past 20 years or so, as I've been observing for that time. We're now in a state of inflation where people actually notice it. Now, could this become hyperinflation? I don't know. Very hard to tell, very hard to predict the future. But it is certainly inflation, and as I've repeatedly said a billion times, the Western world is in a slow state of collapse, and this shit is going to get much worse before it gets better. So I'm going to give you 5 things you can do to make sure you don't get whacked by this. Most of my investments are investments that I know would do well in inflation, which is why last year I did another video on this. I more than doubled my entire investment portfolio in terms of the value because I'm invested in things that do well when the United States and the Western world does poorly. So in this video, I'll give you 5 things you can do. Some of these things are investing, some of them are not. Just to be clear, as always, I am not a financial planner. I am not a financial advisor. That is not what I do here. Please don't consider this financial advice. Please consult with a qualified financial professional before making any major changes in your financial life. Okay, disclaimer over. Here's number one. Number 1, top of the list. Always hedge your cash with gold. I have talked about this many times at my blogs. When you have any cash that is saved away, and when I mean saved away, I mean that's cash that you have that you plan on keeping for more than a year or so. So if you're going to spend it in 2 months, I'm not talking about that cash. I'm talking about longer term cash. This could be cash in your emergency savings. This could be cash as part of your portfolio. It doesn't matter why it's there. Any cash, any money you have stored in American dollars or British pounds or euros or whatever it is you have based on your country, whatever you've got, and I've got a lot of cash, whatever you've got, you have to make sure that 30 to 50% of that total amount of cash is in the form of gold coins. Gold coins you actually own. I'm not talking about gold ETFs. That's a whole different topic for another time. I'm not against them or for them, but they are not gold coins. Gold coins you physically own. They don't have to be physically located in your home. My gold isn't physically located where I am, but they're physical gold that you own, anywhere from 30 to 50% of the total value of your cash. You insure your cash. When inflation goes crazy, gold generally does well. But Caleb, gold went down recently. Yes, as I explained last year, when you have a sudden downturn in the market, gold will follow that sudden downturn because people panic and people sell, which is stupid. But if you wait, gold always goes back up. Last year, back in the early 2000s when I was investing heavily in gold, I still have gold now, all those times when the initial shock hit, gold dropped a little bit, but it immediately skyrocketed back up. So you always want a strong percentage. My recommendation is 30 to 50%. That's what I use. Of all your cash in the form of gold coins that you own. Now, Caleb, where do I buy the gold? How do I store the gold? What if someone rips it off? Should I do it in another country? That is a topic for another time. If you guys are really interested, I will do a separate video on how you should buy and store gold. That's a key topic. That's an important topic. That's something I know a little bit about. I can certainly talk about that, but that's beyond the scope of this video. The bottom line is, number one, always hedge your cash with gold. Never, ever have a big mountain of cash, because some people do. Some of you guys do. You have a big mountain of cash, 6 figures, God forbid even 7 figures sometimes, so just cash sitting in banks or money market accounts, and you have no gold. Insanity, don't do that when the government is printing trillions of dollars. Not smart. Number 2, and this is an easy one, this is one you guys already know, cryptocurrency. Have some amount of money in crypto. I am invested in multiple cryptocurrencies. One of the big reasons I did so well last year was because of my Bitcoin and Ethereum and a bunch of other things I own. Yes, cryptocurrency is indeed a helpful hedge against inflation. Now, it's not a literal hedge like gold is, so it doesn't form the same function as gold in terms of your cash. I would never recommend to take a percentage of your cash and buy Bitcoin with it. Bitcoin is more of a speculation than gold is. So it doesn't work that way. But when currency has trouble, when currency inflates, when governments print up a bunch of currency, a lot of libertarianish guys like me like to buy a lot of cryptocurrency, which brings the value of cryptocurrency up. So having crypto does actually help. Some of you have made a lot of money in crypto. Congratulations, very good. Some of you in my audience are actually now millionaires because the money you had in Bitcoin. Very good, very smart. I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you took my advice. Good. But having some money in crypto is a good idea. Number 3, to protect yourself against inflation is to buy your consumable items in bulk. What do I mean by that? That means that when you go to the grocery store and you buy your toothbrush and your toothpaste and your hairspray and your shampoo and your canned food and things like that, things that are consumable but non-perishable, buy them all at once. Buy them once a year. This is a Mark Cuban technique. He does this. He buys all of his stuff once a year. That's about what I do. I do about twice a year or so. So twice a year, I will go to the store and I will go to a place like Costco or online and I will buy a giant mound of things. I'll buy 6, 7, 8 toothpastes. I'll buy 20 toothbrushes. I'll buy, giant gallon things of shampoo and crap like that. I will buy it all in bulk all at one time because if we're in a state of inflation, the price of those things are going up. So that means the cheapest they will be is right now. So if you need more hairspray or more deodorant or whatever the fuck it is, go buy a mountain of it. One of the reasons that my wife and I were totally cool last year when COVID hit and everyone was screaming and freaking out and running out of toilet paper and crap is because, as I've mentioned in prior videos, I had 2 months of toilet paper already stockpiled because I do that anyway. Plus another 45 days or so of paper towels and things like that. We never ran out of anything last year because we buy all of our stuff in bulk. That's really smart to do when you're in an inflationary economy like the Western world is now. And trust me, this shit's gonna get worse. Just watch. Number 4, and this one is a big topic, obviously, but that is real estate. You can do pretty well in real estate if you're careful and do it right. Let me say that again. If you're careful and do it right, and a lot of people do real estate wrong, but if you do real estate correctly, you can do very well in an inflationary market. You can even get very creative with things like debt and things like that, well beyond the scope of this video. But if you're invested in real estate, you might do okay, depending on the market, depending on the area, depending on what you do. Real estate can be a good play during an inflationary market, but you've got to be careful and you've got to do it right. I can't give you all the details on real estate in this video, but I'm just saying that real estate is one of the 4 things you can do. Real estate is a critical component to your long-term financial investment portfolio. Matter of fact, if you want to understand what being wealthy actually means, you should click this video right here. That's a video I did on what wealth actually means. You should click that, check that out because it directly relates to what we're talking about here. You want to make sure you have good advisors when you buy real estate. You want to be sure you're tied into the right people. By the way, speaking of being tied to the right people, you can join for $7 a month the Alpha 2.0 community if you want to network with other Alpha Male 2.0s, other guys who are living this way. You can go to alpha20community.com. It's the cheapest thing I offer. You get a lot of benefits and it's super inexpensive. Strongly recommend it. Check it out if you want. Okay, last thing, number 5. And this is something that no one ever talks about, at least no one outside of this niche. There's a very strong niche of people who are really into this and they talk about it all the fucking time. But normal everyday people never talk about this, which is stupid. And that is foreign currencies. If you do the research and you are careful, very similar to real estate, you can save yourself a lot of pain and suffering if you diversify your cash into multiple different currencies from multiple different countries. Now, that doesn't mean you take your American dollars, your collapsing fiat American dollars that will be worthless someday, and trade those for some other collapsing fiat currency like euros. So what I'm not saying is you take your American dollars and buy British pounds or euros from other collapsing Western nations. No, that's stupid. What I am saying is to do the research. There are lots of countries that are doing just fine right now. There are a lot of countries that don't have insane governments that are printing up trillions of dollars. There are a lot of countries that have very strong banks that have never failed ever in the history of mankind. Get some of those currencies. Diversify. You don't want all of your currencies in just one denomination, in just British pounds or just dollars. Again, that's insane in the modern era. You need to diversify. So you need to add that to number one on this list. Hedge your cash with gold, then the cash you have left. If you have a lot of cash, you want to diversify out. Now, if you have 20,000 bucks and that's all you've got for cash, maybe don't worry about that. But if you've got more than that, you should strongly look at other currencies. It's silly to not do this. Obviously, you can take that to the next level and do what I did and move out of the collapsing Western world, but I realize that's a tall order for a lot of you. So I would strongly recommend that you watch this video here on the 6 things you must do if you decide to stay in the collapsing West. Otherwise, you should subscribe to this channel because we do a lot more videos like this and we do several videos a week and I'm here to help you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.